Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. To get a better idea of what's going on in Universal Century, sometimes I have to visually frame where things are located, and I've always got caught up in the colonies and the sides. Because we hear about sides, we hear about colonies. I didn't know if a side was just one colony, but then I found out a side is multiple colonies. So let's dive in, look at them, the names, and some of the other kind of confusing lore behind them. All right, so we've got side 1, called Zahn, like Timothy Zahn, you know, that Star Wars author. Of course, I'd say that. So it's got Colony 1, Shangri-La, Colony 3, Colony 7, Londinian, Colony 30. So some of these we can recognize from story beats. Others, they might be from specifically manga. Island Blade, Island Ease, Round Island. Okay. Pia, Albanian Colony, Moon, Sweetwater, Arcadia, Butch. So side 2, Hate, perhaps? Colony 8, Island Ifish, Colony 13, 18th block, 21st block, the St. Gothard Colony, Amelia, Hellas, Olympus. I mean, just doing videos in each colony just sounds insane. All right, side 3, Munzo. We got Zoom City. Oh, that makes sense. Mahal, Colony 38, Colony 9, Quintzem, Guardian Banshee, Extra Banshee. You always need some extra Banshee. Tiger Bomb, and Core 3. So here's where it's going to start getting a little confusing, and after I kind of go through this, I'm going to go to what I found on the wiki and some other research too. But we've got side 4, which becomes side 6, and that's called More. That's Frontier 1, 2, 4, and New Manhattan. Where's Frontier 3? Probably got blown up. And then we have side 5, which became side 4. Not the side 4 that became side 6, but another side 4. Loom. We've got Wado Texas Industrial 7, Frontier 1, 27 Bunch, Frontier 2, 4 New Manhattan. So I guess when side 4 became side 6, I guess what was side 5? Yeah, we're going to get into that. And then side 6, which became side 5, Rhea, as Rebo, Balder Bay, and Metis. And, you know, to sort of dive into that insanity that I want to explain, first there's a website link below. So it's a map of how the colonies would be situated. I'll have that later on here, a closer look. But okay, here's some background information on 20th January 2000. Mark Simmons, generally regarded as the most knowledgeable Gundam fan alive, proposed a radical theory. All of the Z Gundam and subsequent maps were incorrect and that they still depicted 7 sides when in fact there were only 4. He argued that in Z Gundam and thereafter we only see or hear references to 4 numbered sides in the actual anime. The maps and the various references are artifacts created by people other than Tomino and his staff and slavishly lay out 7 sides and colony groupings that are not in fact cited on screen in any way. Which I guess that kind of makes sense because some of the stuff is from side stories, mangas. I don't know how much he's taking that into account here. The theory is that multiple sides at L4 and L5 were merged, so side 4 and side 6 effectively ceased to exist, and that side 5, depopulated as it was simply redesignated side 4, just like we were kind of reading in the wiki. Side 7, consisting of Luna 2, and one uncompleted colony, never really qualified as a side and was subsequently downgraded in Z Gundam. The individual colonies are cited only by name, Greenoa, Green Oasis, Grips 1, and Grips 2, and never as Side 7. When construction resumes in L1 circa UC-0100, it's called the Frontier side. So, okay, according to this, by this reckoning, all conflicts are resolved. Sides 1, 2, and 3 are always at L5, L4, and L2, respectively. Side 4 is at L3 until it merges with Side 1, and Side 6 at L4 until it merges with Side 2. Side 5 is, okay, you know what, you can read the link below, but as you can see, it's kind of complicated. And even if I was to read this to you, it's not like you're going to walk away remembering and have memorized where all the sides are and everything. And I think that's kind of a confusing part of this, especially if you want to get, like I was talking about, that visual map of what's going on in Universal Century. Okay, so then other than those 4, 5, and 6 that were like switching around what they were, there's also Side 7, which was talked about. Green Noah 1, Green Noah 2 are Oasis. Later Grips, which had Grips 1 and 2. Now, again, as it seems confusing because sides change, merge, a lot of this has to do with what happens through the different, I guess, battles in UC timeline, because they're pretty much destroying colonies, obliterating them. Even, you know, in Thunderbolt, it's called the Thunderbolt sector because all the debris creates all that static and electricity. So you could see where there's, I guess, through time, you would think there'd be reformation on how the sides are, especially when it comes to who rules what. So then we got Side 8, Gaia, you know, the G-Savior call out there. That is part of this. That is UC, so it's really cool to see that there. And then there's some non-side colonies. We got Laplace, Hilland, Magellanica, and Blue 3. And then other ones, they're colonies, but they're not like man-made objects or anything, because we have the moon, which has a number of colonies or cities on there. That would actually be a good video. But there's also the asteroids like Axis, Abaoku, Luna 2, Solomon, Pezun, Musa, Fifth Luna, Palau, which also throughout the Universal Century timeline, those have also been destroyed, cut in half, renamed, etc. It would be nice in the future to have a video where I could be like, this was this at this time, then this became that. But that has, isn't there that scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where you got, Charlie with the cigarette pointing at the stuff in the background? All right, so here is where we get a picture of what UC 079 it looked like with the different sides. We see side 7 up there kind of at the top of the image to kind of get an idea of what's going on there. On the other end, where the moon is, there seems to be a lot more activity. Now these, there's rotation occurring here. We see kind of those circles because those are kind of their sort of orbits. And, they're all kind of orbiting in a certain pattern in their gravity. It's kind of science fiction stuff going on here. I don't know it personally, but it's the idea of these bodies kind of gravitationally bound among each other while being gravitationally bound to the Earth sphere. And then when we get to 87, this is where we can see there's a little bit of changes here, actually. Not too much, but you can kind of see where, based on the prior slide, where like some sides are now. All right, so that was a brief explanation kind of like the sides, their names, the colonies that are within the sides. Because remember, a side isn't a colony, but it's a colony of colonies, which each have their own names, and they will cease to exist over a certain period of time within Universal Century lore, be combined with other things. So it's like an ever-shifting sort of geography in the Earth sphere. I mean, just think of if nations on Earth started attacking each other and maybe broke off Florida from the United States, or let's say like China broke off, or like Japan merged to Russia, like that's really not going to happen from war and stuff. But with these man-made objects in space, due to the war and the battles and all the debris out there, it's a mess. Mess both for them and to figure that out in the story. So anyway, thanks for watching. Any other cool facts or informations about the sides and the colonies? I think it's worth diving into like each one, because as I was reading them, I would recognize their names and I knew some story lore behind them, and it's pretty interesting. But I feel like this is a good way to get some framing around the Universal Century. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the supporters out there. Check the links in the description for ways you can support the channel, or even just join our Discord. We have a lot of fun there. We like to play a lot of GBO2 also. But anyway, guys, we'll talk later.